Hello everyone and welcome to the Wolfside channel. Today with a very special topic, always special. And yeah, my voice is a little bit shit because we did a little bit too hard party last night. Yeah, I was so drunk, so stoned, but with the next TC update we can make party hard in game. Sadly without alcohol and without cannabis, but we can make party hard with boulders. So here's Henriks' statement to the upcoming TC mechanics.
Because I feel like for a lot of players, territory control is like one of the biggest things that drives like late game gameplay and sieging, and you know the current mechanics really just aren't the best. And there's a lot of areas of improvement. I don't know exactly what those could be, but I'm sure there's many veterans in the community that you could talk to who do a lot of sieging that could probably give you good feedback. They also mentioned they would really like a pet broker as a structure that you could have somewhere to be able to like, you know, sell pets to your guildies and like not have to, you know, worry about seeing if anybody has horses to sell around your player towns, or maybe even a mailer that you could have, you know, inside of your own town that, you know, obviously you can't mail stuff across the map, but you could deliver stuff to your friends and, you know, they could just come pick it up whenever they want, just like the other mailers. Or even a broker that you could have in your own town, that you could have your own like type of community market and sell things only to your guildies or to your alliance or to everybody if you wanted to.
It's one of the things on our list, TC content, right? It ties to this. There's a huge list of interesting component that ties into TC. We have the core foundation of the system, but it's, you know, it can go extremely deep. It depends on, again, do we think it's a suitable time to adding some features content-wise to TC, such as we have farming, breeding, pet broker, as you mentioned, mail systems, broker shop systems. That list is quite large. We had a few of those in Mortal 1, but obviously...
And the taxes slider is also very, very important, because a lot of people wanted to set their taxes for their windows, but currently they can't. Just to add that.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah. This is one of the most annoying things people talk about when they talking about TC problems.
Yeah. We got a lot of feedback, just like you said, clean, from a lot of players and guild leaders and so on some of the struggle they have when it comes to sieging, and also lack of some features and function that we would like to see upcoming for TC to improve it and give more value to it. And there's quite a few things, and this is also where we would like to have your input on what direction we want to go there. We can divide the upcoming sprints in different sections. We have combat focus, we have TC content, and TC is a big one, like we're talking about now.
Yeah,
there's so many things, right? And we are very open, obviously, to continue progressing on TC to make it more deeper, more valued for the players, and add more interesting conflicts surrounding it. Because one of the things that also some of our long-term veterans commented on is that there's a huge upside with TC, but there's also one downside, and that is when guilds go full out. They spend days and weeks of planning and, you know, logistics and stuff, and then they start sieging each other's and trying to do a full wipe. Obviously that's part of things in Mortal Online. There will be wars and sieges and conflicts between guilds. It's a big part of the game, but it also usually ends up in, you know, depending on that outcome that we also saw in the first game, it can be quite, you know, devastating and exhausting for the players when losing their entire base and everything, and they feel like, all right, this is a good opportunity to take a little break from the game, you know. We all need a little break now, every now and then. But if it gets...
A lot of people did that, yeah.
Yeah, and if it gets instantly tied to those big wars, they can be very cool and exciting as well, but it, you know, quite often it led to, okay, I'm exhausted, we lost the war, or we lost everything, and we're taking a break from the game. And obviously when game mechanics pushes players to take a break from the game, it's never a good thing for the game population and everyone playing it, because even though some of the players in guilds hate each other's, fight each other's, we want that interaction, right? We want some conflict, we want some interesting fights and stuff to do with other players, because it is part of the sandbox experience. So that is why TC can also be divided into specific steps there. And I think the majority is also pushing towards and approaching that if we add some functions and content features tied to smaller investment, more hit and run, smaller skirmishes, scales of wars, that doesn't mean a complete wipe from the game. And there's one perfect example for that, and that is Relic Wars. We had that in the first game, but this time we were refining it. Yeah, a lot of people are calling for Relic Wars to be added back in Mortal 9 too, because that means you can have more frequent small fights and wars between the different guilds. And it doesn't mean that you have to commit extreme resources to fully wipe or siege. You only have to focus on small siege components to try to tap into the relics. And it's like ongoing infinitely. You can fight for them, going back and forth easily without too much commitment. And the reward is awesome with the relics as well in different ways, depending on the relics and interest of the player base as well, of course, the guilds. And we kind of are aligning with that as well. We agree that that is probably a exciting component for a lot of groups and guilds, and it doesn't give the total annihilation of all their investment in a city or a base. So yeah, when we're getting a little bit closer here, we actually want to break TC down in some components and see what kind of input also the player base, the interest, you know, if we want to add a few different specific TC buildings with specific features that brings the players. I mean, one big one is breeding, right? So if you can, if you build a breeding farm, you can, for one thing, you can breed animals, right? So you need one male and one female, and you can start producing some new creatures of that breed. And you can refine them so they become a little bit more strong or interesting and unique looking. And secondly, you can also have the pet trainer. You pay a fee and it just start training the pets in the background pretty much. So you can produce pets and level them up in a more efficient way. You don't have to sit there, hit gods or dummies in a city for hours and hours. So
and the most people AFK overnight.
Yeah, it's not engaging at all. It's better if you like pay some gold, let it AFK, but then you can just go do something else. You don't have to like at least sit there and watch your pet hit a dummy or a guild guard or something like that.
Right. Another thing to that also when it comes to some pet updating is that we're gonna add some of the experience when you kill a mob will be added to the pet as level experiencing. So instead of again hitting a dummy AFK, you can actually go out with your pet, kill some mobs, bandits, whatever, and when you gain that experience, the pet also gain that experience as levels. So that is more engaging way of actually building your pets.
Great.
Sadly, there's currently no time schedule for the next territory control patch, but yeah, I really hope that it's on the next roadmap. Especially the thing with guild taxes, so that you can have your own taxes per NPC. That you can say to the NPC, hey, you can't sell this or this stuff here, but you have to pay, I don't know, 20% taxes or stuff when you sell or buy something here. Then open cities make much more sense. If you have an open city, for example, you are interested then in having an open city because people giving you taxes while running your supply low. So yeah, please leave a like and subscribe, would be really awesome, by the way. And special thanks to all the supporters, of course: Carmel, Professor O, Paladin Life, Lukario, Rhonus, Paarthurnax, Cologne, Bulldog, Giovanni, Vargas, RealMadWurst, Cyriss, Map, Greta, you, and all the others, of course. And yeah, never forget to make party hard, always, every time, always. And yeah, see you all next time. Goodbye.